Hi, today it's all about verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. You must have heard of this. If you haven't, it's absolutely okay. Welcome to another video on my channel. This is Rini Rose Matthew. I'm a language trainer and also an established author. If you're interested, you can go through the other videos on my channel. It's always good to go through the video description. When I was talking to my son, he told me, Mama, it's more about verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. I'm not able to understand the difference. I have seen that many schools, many worksheets, many grammar books emphasize on verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but gradually as you reach the advanced levels of learning, it's always good to know the specific usage of a verb. Before I go into the details of today's topic, if you're very particular of switching on the subtitles, of depending on captions or subtitles, please pay attention to this one. I've used my video to show how you can use the caption facility on YouTube. You must be already aware of it, but if you aren't, you can always make use of it if you really want the subtitles. Well, I do that whenever I'm not able to follow the accent of other channels, or if I want to listen to a point again, because depending on subtitles for me personally doesn't help with language learning. It's always good to get used to certain things, but suppose you're not able to understand certain lines, switch on the captions, make use of this. And one more thing is, when the video itself is in English, when the medium of language itself is in the English language, the captions are going to be correct. 90 to 95% of the subtitles, the captions that you have there at the bottom of the screen is going to be correct, because that's my experience. So switch it on instead of depending so much on the subtitles. I hope you get my point. Now, when you take a sentence, I drive my car, you know that drive is the base form. Some people call it the root form of a verb. Anything is okay. And you know that to drive is infinitive with to. Let's not go into that now. I drive my car. Drive is the base form, and that is verb 1. That's how it's given in grammar books. That's how people have been learning. Not everyone. Sometimes when you have the past tense of the word drive, what's the past tense? It's drove. It's an irregular verb, so you know it's the past tense. That's known as the verb to, because it's the second form of the same verb, which is the verb itself, drive. So drove is verb 2. What is verb 3? It is the participle form. Now don't get confused. Suppose I say I am driving. Driving is the participle. To be precise, present participle. Now what do people do? They will learn all these things by heart from a grammar book. I have also seen many people on YouTube. I'm not taking the name of any platform. Very experienced so-called people with a lot of experience saying verb 1, that's verb 2, verb 3. It's okay to put it that way, but be very specific. Now, for example, you must have heard of auxiliary. Suppose I say I am sleeping. Am is helping sleeping, right? The verb sleeping, it's helping, it's supporting the verb sleeping. That is an auxiliary. So it's always good to learn it specifically. Now suppose I take the verb tell. The base form is tell. Okay, if I say I told her, that's the past form. If you look at the participle form, it's always told again. I've told her, I had told him. Yeah, so look at all the different participle forms. It's the same. That's what is called as verb 3. So generally, I'm not telling that this is the case always. For convenience sake, people name it like this: verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. It's not wrong, but I don't think it's a good practice. Initially also, if you can specifically learn the details and be sure of what is an auxiliary, what is a participle, what are the different parts of a particular sentence in the grammatical structure, it will definitely help you. Later what happens, I have a lot of advanced learners also coming and asking me, ma'am, what is the difference between verb 2 and verb 3? I'm really getting confused because some sentences, complicated and long elongated sentences, could have more than one form of a verb, more than two forms of verb too. It depends. You cannot learn such things by heart. Of course, when you take the past tense or the future tense, you know, okay, this is how it should be. But every time, for such cases, you cannot learn it by heart. Okay, so my suggestion to children, to people who are learning any language, you have auxiliary, you have past tense, present tense, simple tense, everything in all the languages. It's always good to learn with the specific details. Now, I have done a couple of videos on grammar, but as you know, I don't stress and ask my learners to only work on grammar. No, that's not a good practice, because grammar is part of learning a language, but it's not the only part. I know that many people get excited when we speak about grammar. You feel that when you know grammar, you know the language. No. When you know the language, okay, you can speak. Language is a combination of many things. You become a fluent speaker when you're able to communicate to an extent, or when you're okay with the usage of words, vocabulary. So there comes in listening also. How important is listening? Can I ask you that? People think that listening is not very important at all. It's very, very important. Grammar is not the only part that forms a language. Hard work is very, very important. Don't learn the formulas just like that. Look at a sentence. I am driving. What is am? What is driving? What is I? What is a function of I? Everything is related to each other. To understand specific usages, it's okay to refer a grammar book, because there are a lot of grammar books that has been published with good examples, good explanation. If you don't have access to very good grammar books, you can always look at articles online, because when you have this beautiful facility of surfing the internet, there are a lot of articles. Instead of always scrolling and looking at social media platforms or going for something that is not very productive or finding fault with other people's doings, I think it's always good to read different articles. So suppose it is verb 1, verb 2, what is the difference? When you read at least 2 or 3 articles, you will know, oh, okay, so this is what is verb 1 basically. It's the base form, it's a root form. Okay, there are different names given to different verbs. Now coming to base form, I'm just adding this point to this video. You have the base form with to also. For example, to drive, to tell, to speak. So this is the infinitive form with to. But sometimes you may use the infinitive form of the same verb without to. So you can use the comment section to frame a few sentences with the infinitive form of the verb without to. Okay, so these are some of the things that you have to keep in mind. And it's always good to scroll down and look at the different topics that I have covered. I will be looking into the suggestions given by you in the future. So till then, all the best. Do not get tensed about this part of not being able to understand where is the difference, what is verb 1, what is verb 2, and such kind of things. We have been learning it this way because it's important to explain to children somehow. That's what people feel. But gradually, like my son came and asked me, verb 1, verb 2, verb 3, it is confusing me. You can have up to verb 11. Yes, it's possible. You look at the long sentences, because when you go to the higher classes, you will have complex compound sentences. And there you may have a lot of verbs. So how is it possible for a person to distinguish? It's always good to find out the difference. Why exactly this particular word is used here in this form? What is the relation of that particular form with the subject? Is it making any sense? If I remove a word, is it going to affect the meaning of the sentence? You have to pay attention to such things. That's why we always ask you to read. Listening is a very good way of imbibing the language, of developing on your language skills, but reading helps a lot. And I've been reading this book. I forgot to mention that last time, The Ivory Throne. I will be doing a book review. This was supposed to be a very controversial topic, a controversial book by Manu S. Pillai, but it's written beautifully with lot of evidence and things like that. I'm not against anything that's being told or anything that people have been trying to prove with reference to this book, but the way it is written, the way work is put in, lot of research has gone into it. So it's not about believing something, but it's always about the roots. Knowing the roots is very important, and whether it's this version that's given in the Ivory Throne or whether it's the other version that people claim, I feel history is important, and the Ivory Throne has always been very important. People are still studying about it, researching, and it's so live in front of us. So I will be doing a book review on this. It is a mixture of history, sociopolitics. You have a lot of things interpolated in one book. You have a little bit of literature, because of course that's a form of expression, but so much of work has gone into this to show, to portray what exactly brings about the whole lineage, the story behind the royal family of Travancore. Beautiful and interesting. If you're really interested, I can do a book review, and I'll definitely be looking into all the suggestions given by you. Continue to email me if you really have any other suggestions and topics. My one request to each one of you is to always use the comment section productively, because YouTube is growing. We have a lot of tools these days. I'm not scaring you or telling you, because I know that you will be watching a lot of channels. Even I watch a lot of channels on YouTube to update myself, to learn a lot of things, but it's good to be very careful with how you put the comments. Do not use language. When you're listening to my channel, this focuses on mental health and language. Not use language to harass and bully others. If there is something that you can take from a video, okay, put that there. Otherwise, leave it. Nobody is forcing you to watch a channel, because I've been watching the YouTube channels of my friends, of different people, where people constantly speak about all these unnecessary ways of harassing people, of bullying. It has become a trend today, but I think you need to outgrow such things, because the world is becoming very competitive. It's not just money, it's not just the things that you do and try to prove. No, it's not that. One day we all will die, okay, and you will return to dust. You will become one with the earth, okay, whatever your belief is. So when it's like that, try to do something useful, try to live with a purpose. Thank you so much, and bye bye.